Awesome. Good morning, Fallbrook High School. I'm Officer Escobar with the California Highway Patrol. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Oceanside Area Office. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to be here today. And I would like to welcome you guys to Steer Clear, which is a program from the Training, Research, and Education for Driving Safety program at the UC San Diego School of Medicine, funded by the California Office of Traffic Safety. So Steer Clear is a program that educates about the risk and consequences of impaired driving, also referred to as DUI, or driving under the influence. So why we care? Injuries and deaths due to impaired driving occur much too often, and the impact can be devastating, which increases education and awareness. DUI collisions are 100% preventable. So car crashes are the leading cause of deaths for teens. Why is that? So, 25% teens crash involving alcohol. So here are the picture of 97 people. What do all these people represent? So 97 deaths and 2,407 injuries were caused by DUI drivers ages between 15 and 20. Here's an example of how one family has been affected by DUI.
Well, tonight a Pinellas Park teenager is facing the reality that his big sister is gone. Jocelyn Shermer died in this crash over the weekend that you saw there. Deputies say a result of drunk driving.
17-year-old PJ Shermer, his sister Jocelyn, and their 4 friends were celebrating spring break and Jocelyn's new job. He says people were even partying on the car ride there.
The music was loud, people were drinking, he was speeding a little bit, and I wasn't really paying attention.
Troopers say Jocelyn was riding with her friend Donovan Patterson when he ran through this red light at McMullen Booth Road.
I just remember waking up with blood all over me and seeing the car on fire. I was the only one that actually did wake up.
In all, 7 people rushed to the hospital, but Jocelyn died at the scene. And now this teen is learning a powerful lesson about life and the consequences of drinking and driving.
Don't do it. Make sure that you're watching yourself out there. You could go anytime.
The driver in that case, 18-year-old Donovan Patterson, is now charged with DUI manslaughter and vehicular homicide.
So the goal, whether or not to use alcohol or drugs or plan to in the future, impaired driving is everyone's problem, and we all have a responsibility to prevent it. So what can impair a driver? So cannabis, alcohol, prescription medications, and even over-the-counter products like cold medicines. In California, it is unlawful for anyone to drive under the influence of alcohol or any drugs. Driving requires mental alertness, and impairment by alcohol or drugs increases the risk of a collision. So the focus today will be on driving under the influence of alcohol or cannabis. California law states that recreational cannabis and alcohol are only legal for age 21 and over. So I got a poll question for you guys. So in the past 30 days, how many high school students drank alcohol? So is it 29%, 59%, or 75%? And in the past 30 days, how many high school students have used cannabis? 22%, 42%, or 62%? So in the last 30 days, as many high school students have consumed. So drank alcohol, 29%, and used cannabis, 22%. So if you hear people saying everybody's doing it, that's just not true. The vast majority of high school students do not use alcohol or cannabis. So among high school students, 5% drove a car after drinking alcohol, and 17% rode with a driver who had been drinking. While the message seems to be clear about drinking and driving, students are still riding with drivers who had been drinking. So, you got to make the right choices. So, we'll begin by discussing alcohol.
Blood alcohol content, BAC, is the amount of alcohol in your system. If you are over 21, 0.08% BAC is illegal. Under 21, 0.01% is illegal. Here's the thing, one drink, just one drink could get you to that point. California has a zero-tolerance law. If you are stopped and test at 0.01%, it can lead to a citation and additional consequences, including having your license suspended. So, what is a drink? It depends. The higher the alcohol by volume, ABV, the smaller a standard drink will be. A drink might be 12 ounces of beer. That's one regular size can or bottle. Or 12 ounces of sweet drinks like hard sodas. Again, just one bottle. Craft beers can have a higher alcohol content, so a drink is going to be smaller, maybe only 8 ounces. That can of craft beer is closer to 2 drinks than 1. Same goes for malt liquors. Hard liquor? 1.5 ounces of a typical vodka, rum, or tequila is considered a drink. That's just one shot, and most mixed drinks contain more than one shot. Wine has a higher ABV than beer, so a drink is smaller than you might think, only about 5 ounces. Plastic cups hold at least twice that amount. Remember, the higher the ABV, the smaller a drink will be. How alcohol affects you depends on a lot of factors: your gender, weight, and body fat, what you are drinking, and how much, how quickly you drink, as well as how often you drink. Let's see what happens to the driving skills of 2 typical young people as their BAC goes up. Marco is a 180-pound male. Alyssa is about 110 pounds. Just one drink in an hour will raise their BAC above 0.01%, which is illegal for drivers under 21. At a BAC of 0.02% or higher, they will have a loss of judgment and trouble doing 2 things at once. Neither should be driving. At 2 standard drinks for Marco, coordination is reduced. It's harder to track moving objects. He could have difficulty steering. After 3 drinks in 1 hour, Alyssa's BAC will be above 0.08%. She'll have trouble controlling speed and difficulty reasoning and processing information. Another drink raises their BAC even more. Alyssa will be significantly more impaired due to her smaller size, but both will be slower to react and have a hard time staying in lanes or braking when needed. They will likely have trouble seeing clearly and have serious difficulty controlling a car. And they will be over the legal limit for a long time. While alcohol's effects depend on many factors, time is the only thing that will metabolize the alcohol in your system. It takes at least 1 hour to process 1 drink. So it'll take about 4 hours for Marco's BAC to drop below 0.01%, and even longer for the alcohol to leave Alyssa's system, at least 7 hours. Now you know about blood alcohol content and driving. So steer clear and decide to drive sober.
So based on what you just learned, consider this scenario. You have 2 girls of equal weight, both drink 1 alcohol beverage. One has 12-ounce bottle of beer and the other has a vodka drink. Let's take a poll. After 1 hour, would they both have the same BAC? So it depends. So it depends on whether they are drinking a standard size drink. A 12-ounce bottle of regular beer is equal to a standard mixed drink that contains 1.5 ounces of typical vodka, so 40% ABV or 80% proof. But in this red Solo cup, 1.5 ounce is only it's only filled up to the very bottom line. How likely is that for someone will pour a small amount of vodka in that cup? It could be closer to 2 or 3 standard drinks. So true or false? The legal BAC for someone under 21 is 0.01%. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think it's a point under 0.01? So it's false. So BAC for someone under 21 is definitely, you can't have nothing on you. So it's got to be 0, 0, 0. So that means that there's absolutely no alcohol consumption for anybody who's under the age of 21. So now let's discuss cannabis and the risk of driving high. So the most common abbreviations heard about cannabis active ingredients are CBD and THC. There were over 100 chemicals compounds in cannabis. So CBD is more frequently associated with perceived medical benefits and frequently sought out for analgesics, relieving and anti-inflammatory and anti-anxiety properties without the intoxicating effects. So THC is the physicoactive component which creates the feeling of euphoria or high. So THC concentration in cannabis has dramatically increased in recent years. Since 2001, the THC concentration in the bud, flower, leaves, and stems has risen from 6% to a high of 30%. Average is 18%. And this is because the cannabis industries have genetically developed strains of cannabis and cannabis products which are much higher concentration of THC. So that euphoric high can cause people to do and think some strange things. So just take a look at one person admitted on Twitter. So I had my blinker on for 10 minutes thinking it was a song. So it affects your ability. So here's the video. That's pretty funny, but what's unfortunate is that people may have the same misconceptions. So just to let you guys know that there was no eggs that were harmed in the production of this video.
Burrito run! Who's in? I want to do that!
Run!
Yeah!
You don't have to literally
Let's
run.
do burrito run.
They're eggs on weed, and we all agree they've got no idea where this is going to lead.
I know what they say, but there are benefits to driving high.
Yeah, like focus benefits.
We're keeping it safe.
Wait. We're been focused, man.
Yeah.
Is that a word? Yeah, because we're doing it right now. We're been focusing. Hello.
Hey, I'm so benefocused that I deserve like a medal or like a crown and a scepter or something with my name on it.
Wait, what?
So I got a poll question again. True or false? Smoking weed makes everybody feel mellow. What do you guys think? So it's actually false. So cannabis affects people differently. Cannabis has properties in multiple drugs classes including stimulants, depressants, and hallucinogens. Not everybody feels mellow or relaxed after using cannabis. So as a depressant, possible symptoms include impairment of memory, judgment, or coordination, irritability, paranoia, and suicidal thoughts. Some people experience the opposite of the intended effects, such as agitation or aggression. As a stimulant, they may exhibit aggressive behavior, mood swings, risky behavior, anxiety, or nervousness. And as a hallucinogen, they may experience aggressive confusion, panic, fear, and terror. They may see things and hear things that are not actually there. So several factors influence intoxication onset, intensify, and duration, including product potency and type of product consumed, user characteristics, and methods of consumption. Know and understand why good is unsafe. If you don't feel right, you shouldn't be behind the wheel. So inhalation is the common way people consume cannabis. Smoking the cannabis bud from a joint or bong, the THC potency typically ranges from 18 to 30%. If using a vape pen, the THC concentration in the oil cartridge can be 80% or higher. And dabbing, not this dabbing, the THC concentration of the wax could be as high as 100%. So you're going to get the higher high. Another way to consume cannabis is to eat it. Edibles have a high concentration of THC that can be difficult to manage. So the average serving of edible is 5-10% milligrams, but that may only be a very small amount of product. For example, this entire chocolate bar has 90% or 90 milligrams of THC, and average single serving of this edible is just 1 square of chocolate. So other popular edibles include gummy bears, mints, and brownies. Usually just 1 piece is a serving. Poll question. So when consuming cannabis, the euphoric high is felt most quickly when? What do you guys think? Is it inhaling or ingesting? What do you guys think? So it's going to be inhaling when consuming cannabis. So the effects of cannabis, the buzz or the high, affect people differently depending on whether it's inhaled or ingested. So inhaling cannabis products, the quickest high, the effects can be felt almost instantly and can last 1 to 4 hours. So the high from the ingesting cannabis is delayed because it's absorbed through the digestive tract and metabolized by the liver, and it can take 30 minutes to 2 hours to feel the effect, which can last 8 to 10 hours. So the potential for overdose is why one has to be careful not to overconsume. So you can potentially die. So acute cannabis intoxication is on the rise, leading to more visits to the emergency room. In addition to severe vomiting, large doses of cannabis can lead to toxic psychosis because THC levels are so high. This can cause some people to hallucinate and become paranoid. Poll question. If you feel drunk, smoking weed can sober you up. What do you guys think? So it's false. So the fact is, with alcohol in your system, the THC is absorbed much more quickly and impairment is intensified. So when alcohol and cannabis are used in combination, the effects are stronger and significantly increase the risk of a fatal crash involvement. Other symptoms, drinking coffee, drinking coffee, taking a cold shower, or eating food while it won't help you. It won't help you sober up. So all those myths, they won't help you.
I actually drive better when I'm high.
So cannabis also makes it harder to pay attention and judge time and distance. So it's going to affect you. You're not going to be able to drive properly. It's going to affect your judgment and your distance, increasing the chances that you could possibly get into a traffic collision, get hurt, get injured, possibly be a fatal collision. So the bottom line, if you feel different, you shouldn't be, you drive differently, right? So self-perspective versus performance. People often feel that they are safe to drive after consuming alcohol or drugs, even though their driving ability is still impaired. So important note points. Researchers suggest waiting at least 4 hours to drive after inhaling cannabis and 8 to 10 hours after ingesting cannabis, regardless of whether one perceives their impairment. So let's take a look at some things that will make law enforcement notice you're driving. Here's a video that gives some answers to you.
Law enforcement's looking for a lot of different things, such as intention problems, people staying stopped at green lights, people proceeding through yellow lights at an unsafe speed. Maintaining lane positions is a big one. Tailgating, unsafe lane changes, driving up on the curb. We're seeing people who drive too fast, maybe even drive too slow.
So driving too slow was always associated with cannabis use, but does everybody drive slowly? So what are some other misconceptions?
The police can't tell that I'm driving high.
So actually law enforcement officers are trained and recognized drug impairment. So we're out there, we have the training, we can recognize all this.
You probably know what this is. That's right, a DUI checkpoint, because people drive drunk or high. A lot of people. So what happens at a checkpoint? It all depends on what officers see, smell, and hear. First, they ask a couple of questions. Check out how your breath smells, and take a look at your eyes using a test called the horizontal gaze nystagmus test.
All right, watch my finger with your eyes only. Keep your head still, don't move your head, please.
Even if you think you're cool under pressure, or that breath mints will mask the smell of a beer, you can't control what happens to your eyes when you are impaired.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm good. Good.
All right, I'm Samir, San Diego Police Department's a DUI checkpoint. Any alcohol to drink today?
I'm good, man.
You good?
Yeah.
All right, do me a favor. Watch my finger with your eyes only. Keep your head still, don't move your head. Do you understand?
Erratic eye movements, or bouncing of your eyes, are a telltale sign that you may be impaired.
Can you put the vehicle in park for me, please?
If an officer suspects impairment, whether it is something they smelled, something you said, or those bouncing eyeballs, they conduct additional tests.
No, I'm good.
You may be checked for possible weapons and asked additional questions to see if you have a physical or mental limitation that would affect performance on the standardized field sobriety tests. There are a number of these balance and coordination tests, but here are the three most common: the walk and turn test, the one-leg stand test, and the Romberg test. This one requires you to stand, look up at the sky, close your eyes, and count to 30 seconds in your head. Standardized field sobriety tests are over 90% accurate in indicating impairment. If you don't perform well during these tests, the next step is the preliminary alcohol screening, or PAS for short. It determines your blood alcohol content, or BAC, and works by oxidizing and measuring any ethanol in your breath. If you are under 21, you have to take the PAS. Refuse, and your license will be suspended for a period of 1 year, and your car can be impounded. If you are under 21 and have a 0.01% BAC, it may lead to your arrest. Then another, more precise chemical test is done to confirm your blood alcohol content using blood or breath.
All right, so take a deep breath and blow.
There are many costs to drunk driving. Being arrested at a DUI checkpoint could end up costing an estimated $15,000, a pretty hefty price tag. But it could also save a life, yours or someone else's. And you can't put a price tag on that. DUIs are 100% preventable. Make the responsible choice. and decide to be a sober driver.
So another poll question: the penalties for drug DUI convictions are the same as alcohol. So it's true. So some consequences may be felony or misdemeanor DUI, license suspension, vehicle impound, fines, DUI criminal record, probation, mandatory education, jail or juvenile detention. So under 18, guess who's going to be called? Parents. So just make the right choices. So let's just think about this. The estimated cost for DUI in California is about $15,000, right? So with $15,000, what can you possibly do with all that? You could possibly own your own car, have a new iPhone every year for the next 10 years, or even buy 2,500 cheeseburgers combos at In-N-Out. So all better options than losing your license for a year and having to pay $15,000, right? So there are also penalty consequences that can result from DUI convictions. So removal from school clubs and teams, college admissions revoked, military denial, canceled insurance, remorse, loss of respect, injury, death. Imagine if the decision to drive impaired results in a serious injury or death of another person. We can't go back in time. So think about the decisions you make. The amount of regret would never change the outcome. Look at some of these examples.
I definitely had a feeling earlier on that I should just stay at my friend's place and sleep there that night.
But he decided to get in his vehicle and drive. He never made it home. Olson was rushed to hospital. Blood samples showed he was nearly 3 times the legal limit. He was taken to jail. What police told him then has forever changed his life.
He came up and he yelled at me, "Mr. Olson." I jumped down. I was in the cell, and he's like, "Do you know what I had to do tonight?" And I said, "No." And he said, "I had to go tell 5 kids that their parents weren't coming home tonight." And I said, and I just broke down, and yeah, it's hard at times to live with what I've done, but I'm not gonna hide from it. I made this choice, this selfish decision, and I need to live with it for the rest of my life, and I will.
We saw them, we were up in the stands, and we watched them all cheering, how the kids are all cheering along the edge of the thing. And I mean, it was just odd to think that that's the last time we ever saw him.
He knew something was desperately wrong. And she said, "Cindy, there's been an accident." She said, "We don't know, but we think it was Brian."
I called Toledo Hospital, and I said, "This is Dr. Hefflinger." And, they wouldn't tell me anything. And I said, "Can you guys tell me what happened to my son?" And they said, "You just need to come to the ER.
Don't rush.
Don't rush." So I knew what had happened, and I told Cindy, I said, "Cindy, he's dead." If you're ever going to think about getting a car with somebody who's been drinking, please don't. Don't do that. Or don't get in the car yourself.
Brian didn't have a second chance to make the right decision. So you have his second chance. And if he did have a second chance, do you think he would do the same thing again?
So Brian never had that second chance, right? So if you were at the party with Brian, what have you done differently to alter that outcome? Call a parent, a sibling, a sober friend, write your service. Take the keys. Also ask others for help. Spend the night. There's different outcomes or different things that we could do differently.
I drove here, so now I gotta drive home.
So you always have a choice. Plan ahead. Avoid driving high. So plan ahead and designate a sober driver. It's a good idea to have a backup plan just in case that designated driver also becomes impaired. So, but what is a sober driver? The person who A, drinks and smokes at least? Nope. Seems unimpaired? No. Stops drinking and smoking after or 2 hours before driving? No. Has 0 drinks or drugs? What do you guys think? Yes. So friends will do whatever it takes.
I'm driving.
Hi. A taxi? Friends do whatever it takes to stop friends from driving drunk.
So luckily he had a small vehicle. Hopefully you don't have a big truck or Tahoe. So guys, I want you guys to promise yourselves to never drive under the influence or ride with a driver who's impaired. You know, it's very important. You know, we're out here making sure that you guys are safe. You guys are making the right decisions. Don't want you guys to get into a situation where you guys have gone out, consumed alcohol, smoked marijuana, and are high. You know, call a friend, call somebody, call a parent, call someone, get a rideshare. You know, but never get behind the wheel after you're impaired. The consequences for doing that it's not going to be just something that's going to end it, you know, pretty shortly. It's going to have some long-term effects. So you could possibly injure yourself, kill someone else, go to jail for a very, very long time, guys. Just make the right decisions. So thank you all for being here today. I really appreciate you guys allowing me to have the opportunity to be here. But before you guys leave, please take a moment and complete the post survey by using the QR code on your screen. Available for any questions. If you guys have any questions, I'm here for you guys. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions for you guys. Okay. What's that? Okay. Okay, that should be enough time for them to do all this.